Hello, we're here.
Hello. I like to sing our greeting like that.
Yes,
Hello.
very Jessica Day of us.
Yeah.
Um, Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Stories Inc. LinkedIn Live. My name is Bernadette Lonnie, and I am joined by my colleague, Lauryn Sargent today. Lauryn is a partner and co-founder of Stories Inc. Hey, Lauryn.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's great to be here with you. I mean, we talk all the time, every day, but we've never done a LinkedIn Live together. So thanks for inviting me on the show.
Yes, anytime. Glad to have your expertise, and we have a great topic today.
Yeah.
Before we jump into it, I just want to give you a quick hello for anyone who's new here. First of all, welcome, and we're so glad you're here. Stories Inc. is a content agency that specializes in employee storytelling, and we love to host these quick, actionable LinkedIn Lives every other Thursday. Don't hold us to that, but we try to discuss timely employee storytelling topics. And our goal is really to share our knowledge and experiences that we've learned from partnering with leading employer brand teams. So we want all of us to be better storytellers, which is why we like to have an active chat here on LinkedIn. I'm going to point down to the chat. Our colleagues are going to be sharing links to helpful content in there, and we love when people are also sharing the things that they're working on and really proud of. So please don't hesitate to participate in there.
I always like to say a disclaimer, we won't be able to see what you're saying, but we, as Bernadette said, we encourage you, just know we're not ignoring you if we're not acknowledging it because we can't see what you're saying. But we will come back in later and comment and be involved in the discussion, certainly.
I second that. Great. Okay, so Lauryn, are you ready to get into our topic today?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so today we are talking about how to communicate culture in the new world of work. So why are we here? Why are we talking about this?
Yes, we are talking about it because we've seen some culture topic trends that we want to share, and they're all related. Most of them are related to the way that we're working these days. So, as a reminder to everyone out there, Stories Inc. interviews employees to understand culture and then creates culture content from those stories. And we work with employer brand, recruitment marketing, talent acquisition, DI, really just anyone whose audience is interested in a company's culture. And we do this all day, every day across lots of different industries, companies of all different sizes. And so we're just seeing a lot of different things out there. And so that's why we're going to talk about how to communicate culture in the new way of work, because that's what everyone's interested in.
Yes. And while you're jumping into these, I'm going to pull up a quick slide.
Oh, great.
So can you tell us what some of these trends are that people should be paying attention to in 2023?
Yes. And just letting you know what's kind of informed these trends is it's really based on three things. So the first is what culture comms professionals are engaging us for. So what themes they're seeing internally and then what they want to reflect to their audiences. The second is because we're interviewing employees, it's actually what employees want to talk about when we ask them about the most impactful parts of their employee experience. And sometimes that matches what the cultural leader wants to talk about, and sometimes it adds to it. And the third thing is what culture content topics are resonating amongst the intended audience. So candidates, employees, what types of content is performing very well based on views and actions they're taking with content that they're viewing. So the most popular content topics of the past year or so are how connections are fostered both in person and virtually. D&I, that's been a major topic for quite some time, but specifically the focus is narrowed into where people are on the journey. So there's still a lot of investments being made in DEI, which is wonderful. But there was this huge wave a few years ago, and so now companies are wanting to show the progress that they've made through employee stories. So that's still absolutely a lot of content that we're creating. And then the third is this idea of if you can live and work anywhere, and you're a company that's decided you want to be in person for part of or all of the time, you have to develop content now to say, why show candidates why they should live and work in a specific location. So what do they get out of living in a place or coming into an office that might be something they wouldn't be thinking about? So sometimes that's, an office in Bedart, France. Why move to Bedart, France and work in this particular location? Maybe that's New York City, wherever it is, but developing content around why that place, how is your life going to improve if you make this decision to come to this organization and work in this place?
Yes. And so I think kind of the thread there is showing how you are working right now. And it's like understood. I think we all know we're all working differently, and every company is hopefully finding what works best for them. But if you found it and you've made the decision, you need to show it to candidates.
I agree. And it's not, of course you have to tell people what you're doing, that you're hybrid, you're in person, you're remote, but it's not enough to just say what you're doing anymore. You actually have to show what that's look like. Employees have done all three things. So you need to show how your company is supporting them in particular. So they want to know, in the context of your return to work decision, how they're supported and how they're going to collaborate with others. How are they brought into the culture? Especially if you're fully remote, what are some things that companies are doing to make sure you feel part of an organization? You're not just by yourself in your house all day.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's a great segue. The one that I would love to start with, if it's okay with you, is at people who are working from home or working from their RV, home, kitchen table, whatever that looks like. For me, it's spare bedroom. But how are you seeing organizations create content that highlights this work from home employee experience?
Yeah, the most basic, but still very important, like must cover it, is to show work how it happens. So not only is this information that candidates want to know, but they actually need to picture themselves doing it to be able to. That's like just a great recruiting trick, is actually putting people into the visual of what it looks like in that job at that company. So, for working from home, clearly it's not literal. When we interview an employee in their house, it's their house, not your house. But by showing the common experiences that you would also experience, you can put yourselves in the person's shoes when you see it. So it's about showing, the common and real work scenarios that others will likely experience and can identify with. So when we talk about, highlighting the work from home experience, we mean creating employee storytelling content featuring employees in their home workspace and what their day is like. And this also includes how a company fosters connections with others, which, is something that we mentioned before as just being kind of the major thing. And that's an advanced thought, but it's definitely, how you level up your content today.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that. And definitely by featuring your employees in their home, it's effective content. And then it also reinforces that you are investing and valuing in this valuing this segment of your talent organization. And so it's just really important for honoring that group. So with that in mind, we're going to jump into our first example. It's a video from Lockheed Martin, and this video was created as a part of their Women in Engineering campaign. So we're going to hear from Tambri.
Lockheed Martin as a cybersecurity systems engineer, and I've been at Lockheed for 19 years. The role of cybersecurity engineering has a tremendous impact on the mission to deliver secure systems to our customers. I have 3 children. My kids are the center of my universe. I would not be able to continue working effectively as a working parent if it had not been for the flexibility in our work schedule and the flexibility of our leaders to help me exercise a flexible work schedule. One of the reasons why I've been at Lockheed Martin for 19 years is because I think the culture and the values that we demonstrate really reflect my own personal values. Performing with excellence, acting with integrity, those are steadfast values that we talk about day to day. I have seen great changes in the diversity within our company. 19 years ago, there weren't a whole lot of women in leadership, so the few that we had were highly coveted. Today, I'm proud to say that we see quite a few women in leadership roles. The advice that I would provide to young women and girls who are interested in STEM is go for it. You can do it. Don't let anyone stop you.
So inspiring. I love that video.
Me too.
And from kind of what a tactical standpoint, what we were talking about, is one of the things that I love about that is it's not just about Tambry working from home. It is about her experience working for Lockheed Martin and what her experience with the culture has been like. And she talks about flexibility in her family, but she also talks about how she's seen their DEI efforts evolve over the years, and what's that been like for her.
Yes, and I know that's something that we had seen as a trend too, that we had just identified a little bit earlier about, the DEI efforts and the journey and how things have evolved. So I love that was mentioned in addition to a video that works pretty hard. I mean, there's a lot that happens in that video, a lot of things that candidates are told from her story and from her experience.
Yes. Awesome. So at home filming, got that, check. But a question I have, and I would think some members of our audience have, what about hybrid work? Team members who are going into a workplace, they are sometimes working from home, they're sometimes working from the road. How do you approach communicating that culture in your employee story content?
Yeah, that's a good question. And we've seen, we've worked with our clients in a few different ways to bring that to life. One way to approach a hybrid work storyteller is to conduct the interview at one location, say at their house, and then separately capture B-roll footage at the workplace to incorporate visually into the video to show both settings. Another way we've helped clients approach a hybrid environment is filming a day in the life. And that's something that we've done for quite some time, but are rolling that out as a new filming style. And it's effective for high volume or hard to fill roles, or especially those that have high turnover because they're not being very realistic about what the day-to-day looks like. So this can paint a more realistic picture, so people who opt in, once they get there, they're not surprised. And in this approach, we do more pre-production on the front end to help the storyteller structure a workday that's absolutely realistic, but intentionally incorporates the different type of activities that go into being successful in that role too. So we film in 2 different locations, at home and on site, or showing them on the job. Just really depends on which location that would be, but typically 2, and to really bring a typical day to life.
Yes. And it's a very exciting new offering. I'm glad we're rolling it out on a more official basis. But so I'm going to share one of our examples here. And this is a video that we partnered with Great Clips Inc. on. And something that's really unique about their business model is that the Great Clips salons, they are all independently owned and they're operated by third-party franchisees. And so those franchisees are responsible for all the hiring and personnel matters, not the central Great Clips Inc. So it's kind of an interesting way that company is structured. And so this video that we're about to share is a day in the life of a general manager of one of these locally owned salons named Hannah. And it's a great example of showing these 2 different work locations.
Hi, I'm Hannah, and today I'm going to give you a glimpse into my life as a general manager of locally owned Great Clips salons. Every day is different, but what doesn't change is my morning routine. It usually starts with my furry alarm clock. This is Pickles. Let's get ready for my day. Keeping a Great Clips salon, or in my case, 11 salons, running smoothly and efficiently for my franchisee is all about organization, communication, and teamwork. I usually stop by each salon at least once a week to check in and spend time coaching team members. I love those one-on-one conversations with stylists and managers about what's happening within each salon and what's going on with them personally. Today I'm meeting up with a stylist to do a technical training. We're going to walk through tips and tricks to nail a perfect haircut. And that's it for today anyway. Tomorrow will be completely different and just as much fun.
Such a fun video.
Really fun.
I want to be able to go like this, and then my whole hair and makeup is done.
We're in Florida.
No, on a real level, this is an example of a day in the life footage that, yes, she was able to structure a day that really shows the different sides of the role. So she's at home, having to be very organized, plan her day. What are the different needs of 11 different salons, which is a lot. And then showing her in person, nurturing relationships, building her team up, making sure that they are performing at their highest level. So definitely saw a lot in that short period of time.
Yes, lots of good information on the job, in addition to what the culture could be like. So great clips. Wanted the fun to come through, and it was a fun video. It was in addition to being informative. So there's that cultural element too. Yeah. So good video.
Awesome. Okay, so we've talked about that hybrid work environment in terms of showing the two different workplaces, but in the spirit of next level. So how do you foster the connection in the hybrid environment? So we've seen what it looks like, but then how do you foster that connection? And I can only speak for my LinkedIn feed personally, where I spend my time, but I've seen a lot of in-person events popping up over the last 9 months, but I think especially kind of kicking off the new year. And so seeing like offsite sales kickoffs, annual meetings, DEI retreats, all hands, just different ways that companies are bringing their teams, whether it's at a team level or across the whole company together to have that in-person collaboration. So I definitely feel like that's something that's having its time right now. And how do you see companies kind of maximizing those in-person events?
Yes. I mean, one thing we're hearing a lot from clients with distributed or hybrid teams is that they are being very intentional about creating regular in-person touch points for culture and team building purposes. And, certainly we're doing that too. And so if your company is doing this, two things, the first would be go you. I know how hard it is because you have limited time and you want to make the most of the time, but you also want to leave space for connection. There's a lot to think about for these events to have maximum impact and to make them engaging, fun, and that attendees actually walk away feeling energized. And, like I mentioned, we're doing these ourselves. And so more than we ever have before, just because our team's all over the US and we're only 20 people. I think we're about to do our fourth one. So I guess one a quarter, about to do our fourth one next week. Secondly, these in-person events are huge opportunities to uncover your employee stories. Everyone's already in one place. They're actively engaging with your culture. And in fact, when we had one of our offsites, it was a no-brainer. We didn't even think much about it. Well, of course, we're going to get employee stories while we're all together and do kind of meet the team type vignettes. So anyway, it's just a really good idea when you're having everyone coming together already to film that experience, to show culture and how you're fostering connections, and also to gather employee stories.
Yes. So we're going to share an example around that too. It's always kind of fun when we get to show one of our own videos. So what Lauren's point there is, so yes, you can create content that features the event, and you can also just use that opportunity to uncover stories that are going to tackle the strategic goals that you have. So Stories Inc., we needed to create content that highlighted our project managers because they're someone who is working very closely with our clients, and we wanted to be able to foster that connection with them. So while we had everyone together, we created a library of videos about each of our project managers, and we're going to show you a clip of one of them. Christy, my colleague Christy, if you're out there, this one's for you.
I'm Christy Coluccio, and I am a project manager and content strategist for Stories. I love working with different companies who get it, who understand the need that they need to show what it's like to work at the company, that just words on paper to hearing it from the employees' voices is just so impactful. Your stories aren't going to connect with everyone, but you want them to connect with the desired audience. If your story connects with the people that it should connect with, then that's doing its job. The other stories that stick with me are the ones, frankly, about working mothers, and I can connect on that because I am one. There are times where I might have to get offline at 3 o'clock or something to pick the kids up from school early, or they have an after-school thing or something like that. And I know that the flexibility that companies may offer is really important, and when someone's talking about that kind of a story, I can really relate because it's such an important part of my career as well, having that flexibility for my family. There's nothing.
Okay, I'm going to cut her off there, but a really great story. And You saw some B-roll from our company event in that video, but also that's a video that stands alone that is used for separate purposes too. So I think it's a really great example of just maximizing that time where you have all your team in one place.
Yeah, I agree.
So on the kind of other side of that company event is it also is an example to showcase how you are creating connection with your team, especially if they're distributed, hybrid, and not seeing each other every day. So you can actually capture the B-roll of your event and show it in a way to candidates saying like, this is how we connect. We connect every day, but then we also come together on an annual, quarterly, whatever basis it is, but being able to show that example. Can you kind of tee up our next example, Lauryn?
Yes, I love it. Shout out to Viget and Brian Williams, who's a friend to Stories Inc. and actually where we met Doyle, who's Doyle Maurer, who's worked with us for several years, but we just hired as our first ever creative director. So hello, Doyle, and hello, Brian, and thank you. So this is a video that Doyle created with Brian about Viget's, one of their retreats that are extensive, and they're a big part of the company culture. And so you'll see that this video captures the essence of the event. It's intentionally long, so we're just going to show a smaller clip of it so you can see this style. And this is something that we've launched in response to just the trend of seeing all the event footage and story capturing that can occur during events. So this is a good example.
Yes, here we go.
The environment of being here at CLACU with the people that are here, I think has made it relaxed and easy to talk to people and develop those relationships. Whether that's with s'mores around the campfire, or going horseback riding, or watching the morning jingle as 200 horses run past you. It has just been a really peaceful and healing and encouraging space to be around each other.
It was overwhelming in a positive way when I first got here and started talking to everyone and seeing everyone, being able to hug everyone after like close to 2 years of not seeing anyone in person. While I'm bummed that there is a subset of bigots that couldn't make it to the event, it's been so wonderful to be able to just remember what in-person connection feels like.
Okay, we'll pause it there, but I feel more relaxed just as music.
Music all the time.
But yeah, so that video being an example of how to showcase your event as a means of collaboration amongst your team. So that Viget video is one way that companies are showing connection through these in-person events that a lot of work goes into quarterly, annually, however often you're doing it. But as we all know, relationships are happening and being built every day. And showing what those relationships look like, how they are nurtured and fostered, is also a really important element of your culture. And it's very different company by company. So Lauryn, I know we have another new filming style that's kind of a way of approaching communicating these kinds of relationships. Can you tell us about it, please?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yes, I'm here. So yes, we've launched something called Facilitated Conversations, so you can see those relationships in action in a more genuine way. And earlier this year, what really brought this to life for us is earlier this year we worked on an awards program, and our client asked us, how can we do something that is tied to culture and showcases our culture awards, but also informs the person that won the award in like just a celebratory way. So they find out that they won a particular culture award, on film. So we experimented with this new style, and it just had a really great, we love it professionally and personally, but also great feedback from the people who participated in the videos, as well as just the overall results were really good. But we aren't able to share the actual example yet, just because they haven't finished rolling out all of the awards, but we'll make sure that everyone sees an example of it. And basically what it is us facilitating and filming a conversation between two people that have a great relationship, just to show what that's like. And in this case, it was between a manager and team member. And they're talking about all the things that team member has accomplished that's contributed to the culture. And of course, it's very, then the big reveal is that they've won this culture award tied to a specific value. So in the spirit of showing candidates, and employees how connections and relationships at work are fostered, the facilitated conversation style is a great option. And we will share it with everybody as soon as we're allowed, and have the official sign off. Sorry we didn't have that today to share, but we'll make sure that everyone has access to it when it's ready.
It's definitely, hot off the presses. We're talking trends here, and sometimes trends are evolving every day.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, we made it, and we are under our 30-minute mark, so go us. But thank you so much, Lauryn, for sharing all these tips and trends and examples with us today. This was fun.
That was fun. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So if we're going to kind of wrap it up for everyone listening, no matter where you're working, in person, hybrid, at home, you need to be showing what work looks like in your organization and how team members are collaborating and excelling in their careers. And then to take it to the next level, don't just show how they're working, show how your company is supporting their success and growth and the role that your company plays in that. And then thirdly, remembering how you film can be just as important as the stories that you uncover. So being intentional of picking a filming style that really aligns with the type of story that you're trying to tell. Did I miss anything?
You nailed it. That's great. That's great. And contact us if you have any questions. Follow our channel, all of that great stuff. But if we can ever be of any help, or if there's something that we said that isn't unclear, you want more examples of, please reach out to us.
Yes. Cosign. Ditto. Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining, and we will catch you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.